Good day, this is Chef Viverito and welcome to Seafood Identification and Fabrication. We're going to walk you through all the ins and outs of seafood and the wonderful world of fish and shellfish. In this class, we're going to go through a few objectives. Mainly, what I'd like you to learn by the end of this course is not only how to identify the main species and families, but what are the specs you're going to look for when you buy them, what different market forms may they come in. Once you have them, how are you going to store them and receive them? How are you going to cut them? I'm also going to go over how to yield test these fish so you understand whether you're better off buying them in the round, drawn, fillet, even possibly portion cut. What may look expensive on paper may wind up being cheaper in the long run. We're also going to talk about how to cook each of these fish based on their oil levels or activity levels. It's slightly different than meat, but in the end, it all comes down to how much the fish moves. On this slide, we have a couple of different institutions. At the very top, we got the United States Department of Commerce, a very large regulatory agency that we have to depend upon to oversee others. One of the ones that they watch is NOAA. We think of them as the weather people, but they're the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And underneath their purview are the NMFS, or the National Marine Fisheries Services. They're the most important ones on this page for us in this class because they oversee everything. They're the regulatory agency of any living marine resource. Now, when we mention the word marine, it needs to be said that that is saltwater. So marine mammals such as dolphins, whales, manatees, marine fish, marine corals, marine plants, they watch over everything and protect the United States' marine resources. They will tell the fishermen what type of season is on a fish, what type of gear they can use, maximum for catch amounts or maximum size or even minimum size. How long can they stay out at sea? Is there a maximum amount of time they can be at sea? They watch over all our water, which we'll get to in the next slide, called the EEZ, or Exclusive Economic Zone. They're going to monitor that zone and go over everything that's done, either through seaboardings, by satellite, or they'll wait for you to get back to the dock. They're going to see how it all plays out. Interesting, they won't allow any fisher to have more than 2% of a market share, and this way that's going to prevent a monopoly from happening in any of the fish sectors. Like you can't catch more than 2% of the quota of swordfish, you'll never set the price. So I think that's really good. You got to remember that us chefs have a tremendous influence on what people buy. If we decide that we want it, we're going to drive the demand amongst the fishermen to go out and catch it. So the more educated you are on a wide range of species and implications of using those species and possibilities of introducing new species to your diners can do wonders to protect the environment and to ensure health, safe fish for many generations to come. 91% of the seafood we serve in this country is imported, and I would like you to think about why that may be for a moment. My thoughts are, well, we don't have every species in the world swims in our water. We could be on economics. We could base it on we don't want to go fishing. We may base it on too much regulation or not enough regulations. So always ask your purveyor, where is this fish from that I'm using? Can we get a domestic one? Do we have to put this much carbon footprint on importing it? Do we want to get it from somewhere else to protect our own resources? All questions for you to think about. Here is an overview of our exclusive economic zone. We have the light blue, which represents the oceans, and then the darker colors, the dark blue, the purple, pink, green, orange, those represent all our holdings. So whether it's around Alaska or Hawaii, Samoa, West Coast, Gulf Coast, East Coast, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, that is exclusively our water. The EEZ runs 200 miles off our land, unless there's another country. For example, you can see up by Siberia, Russia, it splits it right in half. Or when we come down from Texas to Mexico, it ends right at the state and country border. Every coastal country has one. We probably have the biggest one in the world, and we have the most amount of fish. So think about that. 91% of the fish that we eat come from water other than that. Here, we have an overview of 9 years, 3 across by 3 down. You will notice that it lists different species. These are the species that we commonly eat in the United States of America, and the top 10 year by year. Traditionally, we wind up eating the same 3 or 4 species every year: shrimp, canned tuna, salmon, and pollock, sometimes alternating tilapia in there. But shrimp has been in the number one position from the year 2000. From 1910 to 2000, it was canned tuna. Think about that. Easy to ship, cheap, easy to prepare, long shelf life, no refrigeration back then. But now, tradition holds strong. It's still always in the top 3. I believe shrimp is number 1 because it doesn't taste like fish, and many people, when questioned, don't like fish. The average American today eats about 16.1 pounds of fish. We've had a little increase, and I think that's because a lot of doctors have been telling people to increase their omega counts based on dietary needs. It's really fascinating, and if you go to a coastal city, you'll have people who eat anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50 pounds a year, and if you go in the middle of the country, maybe in Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, you may have people who eat less than 16. Our diets are all varied. For example, if you go to Japan, the average Japanese person eats 147 pounds of fish, and the average Spaniard eats 100.1. So, noted one person's diet is better than the others, but we're a very agrarian-based society with a lot of land from coast to coast. Did you know that 67% of fish in the United States of America is consumed in restaurants? This puts a lot of pressure on us chefs. Who knows why? Perhaps people all across the country don't know how to discern whether fish is fresh or not. Maybe they don't know what's the best way to buy it. Once they buy it, they don't know how to cut it, clean it, scale it, portion it. They can't even tell you if it's fresh or not because those rules and regulations concerning freshness vary all over the place. So they're going to check in with you. 2/3 of the population that eat fish are going to rely on your knowledge. So in the upcoming week, please pay attention because I'm going to teach you how to properly source it, clean it, cut it, and prepare it, and what the different implications are for whatever choices you have. We have a lot of people depending on you, so please make the best of it.